All right, everybody, welcome tonight. It is coming in a little bit later than normal, but I want to welcome you here. We just finished our night of worship and prayer, and had to jump over here to the other studio and get that all dialed in. So I think we're getting there. Just give me 1 second here to hit a couple more buttons, and I think we're ready to go. So welcome to you. I see that people are joining us from all over the country and all over the world. I also see some beautiful Ukrainians here tonight in the middle of the night watching. So добро пожаловать в наш программа. We're still with you. Boji Berju Ukraину, watching and praying Ro Haig Gammon. And we are very thankful to you for being here. Tonight's going to be good. I've got a lot of new information. I I mean, honestly, uh, there's no way other organizations have this. Thank you guys. I see all of your comments, and to be quite honest with you, you know, we've adjusted the program a little bit because this is so live and so real, and so many more people are watching on all of our platforms and channels and commenting. And I do not know everyone out there. We're picking up new viewers each night from different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and everything is growing because people want to know the truth. And so we want to say welcome to you and thank you for being here and being a part of this. I do see that Diana Tarleton said she was at a prayer event last night for Ukraine with Ukrainians, and the fire of the Lord roared. So thank you for that. Crystal Sowers, God bless you. You're very welcome. So to all of you, welcome. It is a little later, about an hour later than normal, but maybe that helps you guys out in California and on the West Coast. So we're going to jump right to it. So you guys know we have been talking with and interviewing guys live. We've talked with Pastor Zhenya a few times. We've talked with Pastor Rostislav last night, and we will continue. I have to give these guys time to rest. I was talking to Zhenya right before I went over to the church for our night of worship, and it was completely obvious that he was completely exhausted. How do I do that? Should be. Let's see here. Hey, Brian Palucci. Let me just make sure this is running here for everybody, because I'm not running on YouTube. Yeah, it's live. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure everything's live. Yeah, we're live up on YouTube. It went to the wrong name, but we're live, so people are seeing us there, and I'll fix that all on the back end. A little bit goofy. Yeah, it's there. Check it again for me. 100%. So go to yesterday's video. The scheduled one's not rolling. So welcome, and let's jump to it. So we've been talking to Vladimir. We've been talking about Vladimir Zelinsky. We've been talking about the situation there in Ukraine, and doing that, we've been using resources that God has blessed to connect me with, that I'm able to get the most updated stuff, and I'm going to give it to you tonight over the next half hour or so. But one of the people that we've been talking to is Pastor Zhenya Matsutsa, and you guys have been sending in money. We've been raising money, and it is going phenomenally well. Please do not stop giving, and you know, this is going to be a long road ahead. So we're just going to continue to give. We're going to faithfully, probably daily, every couple days, continue sending resources, because we can't send but X amount at a time due to limit constraints. But God is blessed abundantly, and we are doing well. Yesterday, we sent our first chunk of money over to Ukraine. They received it today and have already been using it in the resources. So I want to give you an update on that, and then I want to give you an update about Pastor Zhenya and what he experienced today, and we'll just start there tonight. and then I've got some other stuff we're going to roll through. Got some videos, updates, and let's start tonight with Zhenya.
Hello from Ukraine, from Zelinsky. I never tried to show like how it looks like inside for today, but because they made me, I mean, they awake. It's past 12. It's midnight, almost 1 morning. So, and we had to receive some refugees today. So here is what we do. Here's a place for people. Here's real borscht. Our guys were cooking. And here's a coffee machine, and tea, and all the stuff. Here we have TV, small TV, with news. There's guys doing. Hey, say hi. Registering people. Here it's the planning board and so on. There's some extra pillows and the rest. Here's a place people cook. I mean, like warming things and taking food. Like messing from here I took from my business some refrigerator and okay, some more. Okay, here's what do we buy and here's what do you buy, helping us to buy in Kiev. And here's, you see, the real friends, and here as well. So people were telling thanks very much to all the people who is helping us. Here's the sink, and then here is the restroom. We just finished it yet. Everything works. And tomorrow we will fit the shower in here, because people need shower after a few days. You see, it's on the way. So, and now I will show you. I will try, because the people are sleeping now. We have about 25 probably people we got, and kids, and so quietly I will try to show if there is somebody. People were coming, running out from the place where demonized Russian killers are bombing people and trying to destroy the whole nation. And all these people who are coming here to this refuge center, they know that this is what church do for people. And all of them are letting them know that this we're not doing by Ukrainian by our power, but with the unity of the people who sends money, who supports us, who pray for us. So thank you very much for thank you very much for help. So basically, you feed people, you feed feeding kids, you feeling thanks for the ministry. Thank you very much. And this is the 1 in the morning, and probably I'll go to sleep. See you next time.
So folks, that was just a little while ago, right before the night of worship, where he was filming, giving an update. The resources, you heard him say, you bought it. They had none of those supplies. This morning early, our funds arrived to them, and they were able to purchase the things for the shower. They were able to purchase food. They were able to do all of the things. And that's just the beginning. We're dispersing funds in multiple places for this type of ministry. I don't know about you guys, but I just want you to gather something. Those of you that have made it a priority to watch this update each night, you've seen Jania on with me a couple of times. Could you see the exhaustion? Could you see the he's just worn out from no sleep? Well, I want to tell you what happened, and maybe he'll be here tomorrow night. Depends on how much rest he gets. But immediately after doing that video, a little while, half hour later, at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, it would have been 6:30 to 7 we were talking. So about 30 minutes later, he called me. He says, man, I'm going to send you some other videos right now, but you can't show them. And I said, okay. He went on to explain to me why he was so exhausted. He had a pretty close call this evening, and he will tell you himself, but the entire nation of Ukraine is under curfew. And I do see our friends in here from Kenya tonight watching and sending their prayers and love for Ukraine. So thank you to the nation of Kenya for being a part of this. Mboyas, God bless you. So he says, I'm going to tell you. I said, man, you need to get some sleep. I said, you can tell the people maybe tomorrow night. He goes, well, you can tell them. They just need to know. And he started to tell me the story. And we're talking live, and he's in his kitchen by the window. And God is my witness. We were talking, it's just a couple hours ago, and the sirens started going off for incoming missiles and bombs. And it was so loud, we were on a video chat call, that it actually scared me. And I'm in Greenville, Pennsylvania. The shrill, the wailing sound was instant. And I looked at him on the phone and said, man, get the cover. He goes, I'm going to cover, but we can keep talking. He goes, Greg, they're getting more and more and more. So things are progressing westward in Ukraine right now. And we continue to talk. What's up, T? I see you there in OKC. God bless you, brother. Thank you for being here to catch up on Ukraine here. So, I could just see the exhaustion in him and the fear. And he goes, well, man, listen, I need to tell you what happened tonight. He goes, I've never been more scared in my life. And guys, I want to tell you something about him, and maybe when he's on next, maybe tomorrow night, or definitely within 2 nights, he can give you his testimony. He used to be a bandit, a drug addict, and a fighter. And he loved to hurt people in his youthful days. Coming out of the Soviet Union, he was a fighter. And I've never seen Zhenya scared of anything. And we have spent so much time together over 25 years. And I could see the fear in him. I said, man, what happened? He says, we got a call to go pick up some refugees. And I went to my van to go pick them up. And I have a badge that allows me, as a humanitarian organization, working with refugees, working with feeding people, all the social side of war. He said, so I could leave. He said, so I went out into my van and I cranked it up and I turned the lights on. He goes, Greg, it's dark. My lights are on. I can't see out of the van. And instantly, the Ukrainian military had 6 Kalashnikovs aimed at me, ripped my doors open, and started screaming at me, "Don't move, don't move, don't move." He says, I raised my hands above my head. He goes, but I've never been more afraid in my life. And I said, well, what did you say to them? He said, I'm not moving. I am a Ukrainian. I live here, and I have a badge that allows me to work with refugees and be out after the curfew. The soldiers with their guns aimed at him says, listen, that's over. You can't do that anymore. Get out of the van. He said he got out of the van, and then he asked them, okay, can I show you my badge? And of course, as we've seen on TV, in movies, how they then handle them. And he was able to produce his badge. And then the Ukrainian soldier says, oh, this can be faked. This doesn't have to be real. Who are you? Who are you? And Jania goes, listen, I even live right here down the street. And then one of the soldiers says, you don't live here. I live here. I've never seen your vehicle, this white van. Jania goes, I've lived here for years. And he goes, I have another car here too. It's a red Dodge Caravan from America. And the soldier goes, now that van I know. Your wife drove that. He goes, yes, I'm Jania. The soldier said, okay, guys, he's here. He's legit. Jania went on to talk with those soldiers, and he says, Greg, I'm not mad at them. They're my army. They're my soldiers. They're protecting me. The problem is right now, there are so many secret agents. I don't know what else to call them. Not like 007, but behind the lines people putting up targets and doing destructive things, like we would say, behind enemy lines, things we've read about or watched movies about. So right now, that curfew, the reason it is in effect is because there's so much, I know the word I'm wanting now, sabotage going on. So much sabotage. So he was able to get that situation calmed down. They allowed him to go home. He's smiling then, and you could see the exhaustion on his face. He goes, Greg. I said, yeah, buddy. He goes, I'm not going out after curfew anymore. I said, no, whatever you do, do not go out after curfew. So, folks, that was just a couple of hours ago. Thank you, Rick Berry. It finally came to me. Sabotage and saboteurs. Last night with Pastor Rostislav, we talked about the bombing in Zaporozhye. And Zaporozhye, Zhytomyr. Zaporozhye has been bombed too. Zhytomyr, the city, the next big city that's close to Khmelnytsky. You've got Kyiv, Zhytomyr, then Khmelnytsky. And I just put my arm in front of my face. And it was bombed. The guy sent me a little bit of video of that so that you can see the results of it. Here's what happened last night as we were talking about with Pastor Rostislav. This is Zhytomyr.
Давай. Вон еще машину ставят. Там полностью. Я так понял, польський це є. Кореспондент з Польщі їхав. Балакає такий.
So, folks, that is the results of what we were talking about last night. Remember, I showed you the maternity ward in the hospital that was close to the bomb and the bombing, and this is what happened. Right before I left the studio tonight to go to the church for the night of worship and prayer for Ukraine, and I had prepared all of my information to share with you guys, but there was a couple of things that came in right before I headed over to the church, and then I came back to the studio, the Palatial Studios, real quickly and had to get the stream going. But right before I left the central train station in Kyiv. Now, if any of you have traveled with me to Ukraine, some of you in here have been to Ukraine with me. then most likely you have been in that train station. It's called the Centralny Vokzal. It's the central train station. Now, adjacent to the train station, and this is basically the center, downtown Kyiv, is a heating station. Their systems over there are much different than ours. For example, heating, there will be big, tremendously large factories that pump hot water through the city. Many times under the buildings, they have their own boilers and it circulates hot water through the city. You know, it's very cold climate, much like we have here in Pennsylvania and probably even colder, to be quite honest with you. So hot water is pumped through the city and then it goes up through the buildings, and then the buildings use the radiator systems to provide heat. It's like a central system, not you have a home and you put a heater on it. It's a central system. Right before I went to church tonight for the live worship, the heating station was bombed. And now a large section of Kyiv, which has millions of people, has no heat. And you saw the weather on the previous video, and that was Zhytomyr. It's very cold, windy, snowy, very difficult, and now no heat and hot water. This was the blast right before. That's the heating station being blown up. Show it for you. Show it to you again. These are very, very significant, and you can, of course, can see the timestamps and the date stamps up top. Everything I'm giving you is 100% legit. Now, maybe tomorrow they're talking another meeting between government representatives that will happen in Belarus. Russia is saying that's going to happen. Zelinsky is saying, no, we haven't agreed to come to a meeting tomorrow. Maybe we will. But I have put an ultimatum out that the bombings will stop before we come and negotiate again. And unfortunately, I'm very sad to say, as of right this very second, the bombings have not stopped, but in fact, they have increased. So I'm not really sure. I want to show you this. I'm not really sure that there will be another meeting, but right now in Kyiv, this is live, multiple explosions are happening in Kyiv right now. I'm going to talk about Kherson in a moment. Kharkov is still being just demolished. And here's something new. Folks, this is legit, but I want to show you something. You can't tell it. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is a system it's got to load up. I hope it will load. If not, I can back it out. I'll just pull it back and let this reload. It'll be easier. But you see this missile right here? So ballistic missiles have 100% now been launched from Belarus. Belarus is at the minimum allowing missiles to be fired from their sovereign territory. Last night, even Rostislav was talking about this region here, where troops were coming in towards Lutsk, looking at an invasion of Belarusian soldiers. But I can tell you, this is from Belarus. Ballistic missiles have been launched, and there is a brand new convoy coming on the way to Kyiv and Ukraine through Belarus right now, Belarus, and this is where they're located. And this is as of right now, which is 10:01 p.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Ukraine time, and 7 p.m. California time. So that's exactly what's happening there. We'll see. Maybe the sides will come together and talk, and we will be watching, and we'll keep you posted. I want to go through a few things now pretty quickly, not keep you on here too long tonight, but we need to know what's going on. Let me go here now. Let me go one more second here. Let's go back to this one, and then let's go to, y'all give me 1 second. I have so many layers going here now. It's unbelievable. Let me put this here, and then I'll show it to you. Thank you for your patience of live broadcast that is completely unrehearsed. Here we go. All right. I want to show you this, guys. This is President Joe Biden, of course, and this is President Vladimir Zelinsky. The big deal going through Ukraine right now is a huge disappointment in the President of the United States. Last night, he was set up at the State of the Union. It would have been a wonderful time for the president to come out and be very strong, be very make very declarative statements about what we were going to allow, what we were going to do. But of course, that didn't happen. But you have to understand something about Ukrainian people. They are brilliant people, and they pay attention to details. Last night, the President of the United States, with the number one topic going on in the world, this war, missed it, calling them, I think, Iranian, not Ukrainian. Well, the Ukrainians, it hurt them, saying the leader of the free world, who's supposed to be helping us, does not even know we're Ukrainian?
Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people. He'll never extinguish their love of freedom, and he will never weaken the resolve of the free world.
So, folks, I'm only going to show that one time because it's not worthy of being shown twice. Whatever. God bless those guys. They need Jesus. But I'm just going to tell you something. Man, it's the only story happening in the world right now. And we do not even realize, or we just can't even get it out. The problem is it hurt them because they were watching the speech. And he says, we know the tanks are encircled around Kyiv, but the power in the hearts of the Iranian people. Really? We cannot do stuff like that. It's unacceptable. Now, just before I started Night of Worship, President Vladimir Zelinsky made a speech to his people. I'm going to play 30, 45 seconds because unless you're watching in here and you understand the language, you're not going to understand this. I will translate a couple of the statements for you after, but I want you to feel the difference. I want you to feel the difference between a politician who is clueless versus a politician and a man who takes it as his calling to lead his people. That's what we need on the world stage, is people who are leading out of passion and leading out of compassion and are not selfish, self-absorbed people that need to be on retirement playing with their grandchildren. That's all I'm going to say about that. But that statement hurt the Ukrainian people. They asked today, so we're Iranian now? I said, no, you're Ukrainian. Well, your president calls us Iranian. Yeah, I know, but he didn't even know where he was. It's okay. So listen to the difference between that speech and then about 2 hours ago, in the middle of the night. This is the speech of President Vladimir Zelinsky.
Бажаю здоров'я, рідні українці. Сильні і добрі, але добрі не для ворога. Ми народ, який за тиждень зламав плани ворога. Плани, які будувалися роками, підло, прораховано, з ненавистю до нашої країни, до наших людей, до будь-яких людей, які мають дві речі – свободу і серце. Але ми їх зупинили і б'ємо. Наші військові, наші прикордонники, наша тероборона, навіть прості фермери беруть в полон російських військових щоденно. І вони всі говорять тільки...
And I know you're not understanding that, but let me just tell you. He says, I'm telling you tonight about the plan that we have for our nation and that we have in our heart and what we're going to do for our nation and for our people in this war. A couple of the other quotes that he made, and you can feel the power. He says, we are the Ukrainian people who broke the plans of the enemy during this first week. We broke the plans that they had been preparing for years. His second quote that I'll read to you, he said, the morale of the occupiers is deteriorating. More occupiers are even running away from us, and they are running back to their homes. God is with us. A third quote, I sincerely admire the Ukrainian people who go out with their bare hands, the grandmothers and the grandfathers, the mothers and the fathers, and they say, no, we will stand against the occupier and you will not have Ukraine. His final quote said, for Ukrainians, this is a patriotic war. Wherever the enemy goes, they will be destroyed. The occupiers will be rebuffed. Folks, it was like a 9-minute speech, but the passion that came through it, it was unbelievable. So that's what we have there. Let me pop this out for you here. I've got so much stuff here. I want to show you this map. Folks, today in the city of Konotop, Ukraine, the city of Konotop fell today to Russia. But I want to show you something. Now, this video is going to be a little stretched because I was given it from a different site. But you will see it. There's translation there for you to read the English translation. But I just want you to look at the map. Many people do not understand, but right now, if you've been watching your local news, or as long as your head's not in the sand, you know the two major battles right now in the two largest cities in Ukraine are in Kharkov in the east and Kyiv, the capital, in the center of the nation. Well, maybe you don't realize the size of Ukraine. I thought tonight I would share this with you. From Kharkov to Kyiv is 255 miles. A majority of that territory is extremely rural. Small villages, small towns. But these two major cities and urban areas, 255 miles apart. Just north, you see the triangle there of the city called Konotop. And that city fell today. But the mayor was rallying his people in the square. And you just need to hear the passion. Folks, this is what happened in Konotop. And this is the mayor talking to his people. I apologize for the skewing of the video, but it was the best I could get from them. Here you go.
Вони нам поставили умови зараз. Якщо ми починаємо супротив, вони розносять місто артилерії. Якщо за, воюємо.
А что ты не хотел вчера палить?
Хто за те, щоб воювати? Воювати!
Конечно,
Хто за те, щоб воювати?
Конечно!
Почекай! Послухайте, я за те, щоб воювати! Я за те, щоб воювати! Рішення, послухай! Рішення приймаємо всі разом, тому що артилерія на нас наведена.
Folks, that's the mayor, and you can see the passion. This is what's really happening on the inside. Right at that moment, the tanks were rolling in, and that was the meeting the Ukrainians were having in their square of that city. They decided, let's send the women and children out and let's fight. But the force was so overwhelming coming into that city that they had to surrender the city. So as of right now, Konotop has fallen. Kherson, you probably have seen on your local news that the city of Kherson has fallen. I did ask Zhenya. I said, listen, I'm going to talk about it because when I had made these slides and different things to share, I finished them up about 3 hours ago, 2.5, and ready to adjust them. But right when I talked to him, the news started to break that Kherson, and it's spelled there Kherson, it's in southern Ukraine, had fallen. And I asked Zhenya, because you see what I wrote. I wrote status unconfirmed. But I asked him, I said, Zhenya, I'm seeing now that Kherson has fallen. And he sniffed, in a crying sound, says, man, my friends are there and it's fallen. It's under complete control. And right now, over to the right there, the city of Mariupol. We've been talking about them for a couple days. It is a major port city. Bombarded. The mayor of Kherson actually came out and says, can we please provide a humanitarian corridor to get women, children, wounded, and dead out? We do not know everything that's happened in Kherson, and it's very, very sad. The same thing is happening in Mariupol over on the right here, right there, Mariupol. We do not, what we know is the mayor came out just a couple of hours ago and said, we're being destroyed. We don't even know how many people have been injured and killed. Please help us. And we need to do something. That's just all I'm saying. Folks, I've been talking for 2 years about Ezekiel 38. And I absolutely believe that this is the beginning of Ezekiel 38, where the armies from the north eventually will be drugged down to Israel. It will be a battle over economics, and God will reveal his glory to the nations. I personally believe that this is a part of the unfolding of that. And I know everybody's got their own viewpoints on eschatology, on end days, and it's interesting now. I had a message before the stream started from a person who watches every night and says, Greg, some of these ministers out here, good ministers that, are on TV and different things, they're starting to say, hey, it looks like the beginning of Ezekiel 38, verse 9. And she goes, I just wanted to call them and say, you should be listening to Greg. He's been saying this for 2 years, but it's really what's happening. And here's just more validation. China knew about the Russian invasion. This was posted this afternoon as she asked Putin to delay the war until after the Olympics. Folks, we already know that they are partners, but it's very dangerous. These are the nations of the north that will eventually come south toward Israel. So China knew about this 100%. And I found this guy today. I actually want to contact him. His name is Alex Gallo, and he has worked for all type of institutes and think tanks. He's a graduate of West Point. He's a graduate of Harvard. He's young, but this cat is brilliant, and he's worked on for the committees of the Armed Forces Committee there in D.C. He's on a think tank at George Mason University, but he thinks like we think. Brilliant guy. He actually wrote in 2018 that this would happen, and it's called the Rise of the Revisionist. And he wrote in 2018 that this would happen. What to do about Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. These are the four nations we've been talking about. China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. The coalition is getting stronger day by day. And Alex Gallo wrote this starting in 2014, but in 2018. And listen, I don't know if he's a believer or not. Very brilliant person, but his writings sure were prophetic on this. And he talked about this coalition rising and that they were revisionist, where these nations never accepted the results, for example, of the Cold War when it ended and the Soviet Union fell. These nations never accepted that. In their thinking that the world was just in a transition phase, but this Cold War was not over, but there was an adjustment coming. And Alex Gallo, I'm going to be following this guy because he's very, very smart. You're going to hear it here first, already being confirmed in a couple of places, but it looks like martial law will be declared in Ukraine. It's already in Ukraine, in Russia on March the 4th. So it's already March the 3rd there. So tomorrow's Thursday. It's still Wednesday night late here for us. Those of you that are in Africa are watching right now, it's already Thursday. Or if you're watching in Ukraine, I know some Ukrainians are watching right now as well. I saw your names in the chat. It's already Thursday. So tomorrow, Friday, or day after tomorrow for us, it looks like martial law is going to be introduced in Russia. And folks, this is a serious, serious deal. If it happens, the Russian parliament will convene on March the 4th to approve martial law. And it's basically for the purpose of course, putting the military in control, total ban on all rallies, total ban on any protest, a complete disconnection from the outside world. We talked last night or 2 nights ago. Putin is being backed into a corner. And when people are backed into a corner, it's like a boxer. When they're backed into a corner of the ring, they're going to lash out. Most of them are not going to just surrender. So we will see what happens, but definitely with the no-fly zone in Europe and with nations 15 minutes ago, before I went online, Spain, I got it right here. Spain is sending 1,370 anti-aircraft missiles or defense systems to Ukraine. It's breaking. I've got it right here on my news feed, and Spain has decided. So this is continuing. Switzerland dropped their status of being neutral. The corner is happening, and it looks like March 4th, martial law could be declared in Russia. And folks, that makes a really, really big difference. Maybe you didn't know this. I want to say thank you for all of your support financially. We're making a huge difference, as you already saw. Maybe you didn't realize this, though. Russia is the #1 wheat supplier in the world. It's based on 2020 data, because the 2021 data is not completely in, but the 2021 data is going to be the same as 2020. This data hasn't changed. Then the United States and Canada and France. But you see who's fifth? Between Russia and Ukraine, a large majority of the world's wheat supply is distributed. You don't think this is going to cause economic impacts that pushes us closer toward Ezekiel 38? Of course it does. I've been watching you guys post on your Facebooks and your whatever, your Twitters, how this morning I went to get gas, it was $3.85 a gallon. This afternoon I went and it was $3.95 a gallon. Yeah. You haven't seen anything yet. If this continues, you haven't seen anything yet. One of the people who helped me with content, Julia Augustine, sent me a report just a couple of minutes ago that the Suez Canal is raising their tariffs because they have to generate more income to allow the cargo ships through. Folks, do you see how all of this is interconnected? And God is going to use the nation of Ukraine and the people of the world rallying together to do something great for his glory. I do believe that. Today, there was, of course, the meeting, the emergency meeting in the United Nations. And I just want to draw your attention to this because you need to know it. Basically, this was a resolution condemning the war in Ukraine. They called it the aggression against Ukraine. Bunch of cowards, can't even call it what it is. It's a war. So we had 5 nations rejected against it. And of course, Russia, Belarus, North Korea, Eritrea, which is a crazy little nation in Africa, and Syria. But that's not really, I do not understand why 34 nations abstained. It says, no, we're just not going to vote on the matter. I know why, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they receive resources from Russia. Russia is so wealthy and full of resources. We're still buying their oil unless it's changed in the last 30 minutes since I started streaming. United States is still buying oil from Russia unless it stopped in the last 30 minutes. Their resources are vast, and they've been planning for this for years and years. Sanction away. Good luck. They're connected with China, Iran, India. And I look at these nations that said, no, we're not going to vote. Algeria, Angola, Armenia. That was a surprising one. Bangladesh, Bolivia, Burundi, Africa, Central African Republic, China. They didn't vote no, but they abstained. Cuba, of course, El Salvador, India, Iran, Iraq, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Laos, PDR it's called now, Madagascar, Mali, Mongolia, Mozambique, Namibia, Nicaragua, Pakistan, Senegal, South Africa. South Africa, really? Good grief. South Sudan. Why? Because you get resources through the shipping lanes from Russia. We know the story. Sri Lanka, Sudan, Tajikistan, Uganda. Did Tanzania? You better not. Tanzania, United Republic of Tanzania, Vietnam, Zimbabwe. I'm calling you tomorrow, Bishop Bearings. Tanzania, you're in trouble. But folks, you see, these nations are dependent on Russia. This is not as simple as everyone thinks it is. Finally, and we're closing up for tonight. Get some rest, and we'll be back at it all night and tomorrow. We're not stopping until we have resolution. Unfortunately, people are taking advantage of this, not only in cryptocurrency, but also in regular currencies and scams and schemes and GoFundMe's. Be careful if you want to donate resources to help Ukraine. We're offering, and you guys are responding wonderfully. As I told you earlier, our finances, they're there. You've been giving, and it's not sitting in a bank account over here. We are dispersing, and we're dispersing every bit of it plus. So just so you know, no scam here. Those of you that are supporting Ukraine, and there's more coming. Pastor Kent heard from a church and a pastor tonight. We're contacting another church in Indiana tomorrow about getting resources to Rostic and Dawn of Life directly, because they really very few options now to getting it there and knowing it can get there. Tomorrow, I have a meeting with pastors in South Carolina who have said they want to come together and support this effort that we are doing. They're so appreciative that each night getting an update that's not one-sided or media-driven or purpose-driven, but really just telling the inside story of what's going on, and we're being a funnel to assist people. So, folks, that's what it is, and that's where it's at tonight. I want to thank you for being here. We came in a little bit late. And typically it's going to be 8:30, but sometimes I'm getting some fresh and updated stuff right at the moment, and I want to pop it in because it's right it's what's happening right at the very moment. I'm being very careful and selective what I show. Lots of videos, just they're bad. I want to show you this before we leave tonight, and we'll bless Ukraine. The city of Kherson fell today. But there was one old man standing in the center of the square, waving his Ukrainian flags, staring the tanks down. I've got a little clip, and then I'll pause it for you so you can see. Let this be a lasting image that we have for tonight's program. You couldn't see him there. Just hang on. There's the tanks all lined up, occupying the square. Now let me go and do it in slow motion. Check him out right here. One old man. I'll start it now. Waving his Ukrainian flags. So may that, let me get it right there. May that image right there be a good memory for you guys tonight to be thinking about. As always, thank you for your time. Thank you for doing this. We are putting massive efforts into telling the truth, getting it out daily. It's growing more and more every day. Today, I did an interview for a local paper, and they're going to run a big story here just to try to get more help. The guy came across my broadcast and says, "Man, we've got to get this out." Bishop Isagani King, welcome tonight, my dear friend from the Philippines. And I know the Philippines are praying for Ukraine. And Gani, we're also praying for you and Tess. Bob Green, he's putting the message out there. Just let them know we love Ukraine with all of our hearts from here in Tennessee, USA. Ted Morris, I thank Pastor Kent and your family for supporting you in researching this and preparing all this information. It is solid revelation. Ted Morris, I appreciate that, sir. It's a lot of work. Just so you guys know, as you can see it here, the Palatial Studios, the Palatial Studios are right beside my bedroom. Pastor Kent got a tour not too long ago, and I literally, my computers do not go off ever. All of my stuff is running nonstop. I'm getting calls in the middle of the night. And I mean, like, it can be 4:00 in the morning and I'm getting calls. Greg, we need to find where to buy, for example, night vision goggles. We've got to help our military. Or Greg, this family is demolished. We just lost this church, blah, blah, boom. And I don't tell them to stop. I say, keep it coming, because we want to share and we want to love you. We want to get the truth out and we want to be a help to everybody. So guys, thank you for continuing to support, and as always, we will continue to pray for peace in Ukraine. We're going to pray for revival and give online. What happened to that? So if you want to give online, it's www.blwc.org, and it's right there on the main page. Thank you. 24 hours from now, we'll give you another update. May the Lord bless you and keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you, and give you peace. And may the peace of the Lord rain down in Ukraine tonight. In Jesus' name, we'll see you in 24 hours. Good night.